Hi everyone, and welcome to What You Need to Know Weekly with me, Sophie Nicole Casey, as always. So today I'm talking about the Apple iOS 14 release that's coming out in January. It's a very big thing that's happening it's going to affect any business owners out there who run ads to either their website or to apps. This is like really big for you. And so that's the main thing I'll be talking about. And then I just have some smaller news regarding, following on from last week's EU privacy changes, and then some lighter news with Instagram and Messenger. So before I go any further, I just want to say this is going to be I'm recording this live, on Wednesday, the 23rd of December. It's going to be my last What You Need to Know Weekly of the year. Woo! But also, I have decided next year it's not going to be What You Need to Know Weekly anymore. It's just going to be when it happens or when you need to know it, basically. Because as a lot of you know, I have a 10-month-old, 11 months tomorrow, and it is not sustainable to keep doing this many sort of live videos. It takes a lot of work before, during, and after, especially together with like the Facebook Ads 5-minute show I do and lives in my group as well, for those of you who know about my free group. So yeah, I'm just going to be cutting down on the live content I'm doing so I can have more breathing time with my little one. But for now, let's get into this. So first of all, Apple's new iOS 14 policy, what the hell is it? So basically, they're bringing out a new release that goes out to everyone who has an Apple phone. And what they're going to do is they force all apps on the iPod to show a notice saying, do you want your information to be collected and shared, basically? So this information normally is collected automatically, and it's what if you have tracking on your website and you run ads and send people to your website, when people go on your website, it stores in the pixel their data. Like, you can't see their data, like the name or anything like that, but you know that someone has been on your website, and you can then show a different ad to them based on what they've done. So with this notification that's going to come up saying, do you want to share your data, people can click no, basically. So whereas before they're automatically opted in and they'd have to go and specifically opt out to not be tracked, now there will be specifically asked every time the first time they use an app, or when this update goes through, the first time they use an app, do they want to share their data, yes or no? And the chances are 99% of the people are going to say no. They're going to say, no, we don't want to share our data. So this is like a really big thing. Facebook is very openly, publicly anti-Apple. They are fighting about this. Facebook's been they've done some like news articles. They've got like a big campaign at the moment trying to get people to share their views and fight against it. It's not very often that they will publicly slag each other off, basically, but that is what's going on now. So basically, if you are running ads to an app or to your website, then you will no longer, unless people select yes, they want to share their data, you will no longer be able to track what happens. So imagine you're running ads to a lead magnet, and you collect some email addresses and whatever. The Facebook Pixel is not going to be able to track who converts, who signs up. You're not going to be able to track the money you're spending on your ads. Is not going to be able to, it's not going to be able to sort of validate the amount you're spending, because you're not going to be able to see the true results. Also, if, for example, you've got an e-commerce store and people go on your store, on your website, and they look at a product, normally what you'd be able to do is later show them an ad with that product with maybe a discount code or something, and then they'll see it later when they're shopping. They're like, oh yeah, I've got a discount on that, I'll go buy it. You're not going to be able to do that anymore, because once they've opted out of that tracking, you're not going to be able to keep an audience in that way of people who have been on your website, basically. So it is pretty big. If you think about half the people are on Android, about half are on iOS. So if you imagine all the money you spend on ads driving people to your website, about half of those, you're not going to be able to track them. You're not going to be able to show them different ads. You're not going to be able to do anything. So it is pretty major. You're going to have to spend twice as much money to get the same results, basically. Not to get the same results if people go on and buy something, but to get the same trackable results. And most people don't buy the first time they look on your website, basically. And the other thing is, so you won't be able to target or exclude ads based on what they've done. So sometimes you can hide an ad from someone if they've already seen something else. So they're not seeing stuff repeated, but So, for example, if they've seen a certain page on your website, you don't want to show them this ad because they've already seen that. You won't be able to do that anymore either. So basically, the ads people are going to be seeing are just not going to be as relevant to like how they would be as it is now. So it affects business owners who advertise mobile apps or anyone who does anything on their website, basically. And that will come in early 2021. So they've not said exactly when. I've got a feeling it will be January, early January. I think it's going to be rolled out to people in different stages. Okay, so how does it affect? It affects apps and websites completely differently. Now, in this live news, I'm not going to talk about apps because it gets a lot bit more complicated. I don't think in my audience I have many app developers anyway. So I'm just going to stick with the actual website side of it. So the first way it affects you is with the tracking that you do get, you will only actually be allowed to track 8 different conversions, like conversions on your website. So Facebook are going to guess basically which kind of conversions you want. Now, to sort of explain this a bit more, let's just say that you've got a lead magnet on your website and you have one conversion set up that's like called, signed up to whatever lead magnet. That would be like your custom conversion. And then you've got your standard sort of conversions, which like if you've got a shop, you've got like purchase, you've got add to cart, you've got initiate checkout, you've got view contents. Maybe you've just got like tracking certain pages, like certain landing pages. You want to track every time someone sees that page. Well, from now on, or from when this happens, you will only be able to track 8 different things. And most people have 20, 30, 100, 1000 tracking different things they're tracking, and you have to choose 8. So it's like really packed down. And the other thing is you won't be able to choose which 8 things you choose to track unless you have verified your domain, which gets a little bit more complicated, but I'll talk about that a little bit more later. So Facebook will choose the most relevant to your business based on your activity. Or any other events which aren't those 8 will be made inactive. Any campaigns you're running or any ad sets you're running which use any of those will be paused automatically. So then you'll just be able to choose one of those 8. And I already said that. I always do this. I make notes and then I talk, and then I don't actually look at my notes and I look at them and I'm like, oh, I said that. Okay, so yeah, basically you just need to think about what you want to track on your website that's most important to you, and then just make sure you've got your domain verified. So I'll tell you what that means now. You say you've got a Facebook account, but you use a Gmail email address, but you're running traffic to your website, which is kcmarketingcreations.com. Facebook has no way of proving you are that real website owner. So you need to go and verify it. So you could start by using an email address that is correct, the same as your website. That would be a good way to start. But otherwise, if you just go to your business manager, go to your business manager settings. If you head on the left to brand safety, then underneath there is domains. If your domain is verified already, you'll see it there. If it's not, it will give you instructions of how to do it. And what I'll do is in the comments or description of this video, I'll also include a link which has step-by-step instructions of how to do it. So when your domain is verified, what you can actually do is go in and have control over which conversions you want to track, basically, because again, I'm not going to go into it because it is quite complicated. Even when I read it, I was like, okay, this is like, I need to process this a bit. But the way Apple will provide the data to Facebook, basically, if it's a verified domain, then they'll let you choose, what it is you want to track. And then they talk about like, you should give explanations about why you want to track it and so on. But I'm not going to go into any of that side of it. Okay, and the other thing what they've said is you may just want to focus, like if you're using ads, you may just want to focus on more higher funnel stuff. So things like driving traffic, brand awareness, things at the top, and then like you don't need to rely on these kind of warm audiences to do that kind of stuff. So that kind of stuff won't be affected as much. Right, so what can you do? I've already said about verifying your domain. Apart from that, there's not really much else you can do. So what I recommend you do is you start using email as much as possible. So make sure wherever possible you're collecting email addresses and then you can create audiences out of those people on your email list rather than relying on the cookies, on the pixel, on the website tracking, on iOS, basically. That's like the biggest thing you could do, and also just get that domain verified. So that is basically all I wanted to say on that matter. I'm just going to check and see if I've got any questions at all. So I've not got any questions. If you do have any questions, let me know. Yes. And then in other news, so EU privacy changes, biggest ball ache last week, and now we've got this to think about. It's just everything is just really cracking down on privacy at the moment. Huge pain in the ass. So just a little update on that is in Messenger, there are some features disabled because of this. So in Instagram, it's stickers, and in Facebook Messenger, it is polls. So these might not be working as expected, but it's just another thing, another kind of consequence of these EU privacy changes. And Facebook have not said when stuff will start working again, but apparently very soon. The next one is Instagram are going even closer towards being the same as TikTok with their reels. So what they're introducing now is an additional audio clip option. So you can add a music clip or a voice clip, audio level controls. They're adding a reels watermark so that when people share stuff, especially to different platforms, it's got reels plastered on it like TikTok. And then there's more edit items in there. So like trimming and deleting clips, basically. And then with Instagram stories, they've introduced photo booth mode and multi-capture mode and color filter. So within your stories, you'll be able to do a lot more sort of like complex editing and things like that. So I think since I've started doing What You Need to Know weekly, I've had Instagram news every single week that they've rolled out something new, either copying TikTok or just trying to make Instagram. It's just been Instagram recently. So that's like quite some happy news. If you're an Instagram fan, it means you can do more there. They've not said when all these changes will take place. So just keep checking, have a look on your app, see if you've got them now. You might do, you might not. But otherwise, the way it normally goes is US and UK, then rest of the world, in my experience. Me being in Thailand, I get everything last. I've only just got some of the stuff that I announced to you guys about 2-3 months ago. So I give up even trying to look. And so that is literally it from me today in What You Need to Know weekly. Like I said, so in the comments, or the description, I'll add links. I'll have 3 links. First, how to verify your domain. Go across and do that as soon as you can, just so that you can make sure you get as much tracking as you can. You keep control of it. If you want full details in Facebook's slightly more complicated words, then I'll put the link to that there. And then finally, Facebook are doing their this campaign. They want small business owners to speak out and tell their story and tell the world why they're upset about these Apple changes. So if you're upset about this, about how this is going to cost your business more money because of Apple's new, they've decided to do it. They didn't really consult anyone. They're just like, yeah, we're gonna screw up every small business out there who uses advertising on the internet. And I'm not just talking about Facebook. So this will affect people who advertise on Google, on Pinterest, on anything. Well, I don't know about, no, not Pinterest, ignore that, but on Google, because it's basically just the tracking on, anything that has a code which tracks, basically. The people will have to give permission for that tracking to take place. So it affects a lot of people, not just Facebook. So yeah, I'll put all of those links in. And apart from that, tomorrow it is Christmas Eve. Happy Christmas Eve. Have a wonderful Christmas Day, Boxing Day, that middle slumber bit, I forget what it's called, and a wonderful New Year. And I'll be back with some news next year. So take care. Thanks so much.